ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
परम्परा
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहनौ
ॐ
भवतु
सहनाववतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
सहनो
सह वीर्यं
भुनक्तु सह
करवावहै
वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
ॐ
विद्विषावहै।
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
शान्ति शान्तिः
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah
Om Tat
Shivaya,
Sat.
Hari
Namah
Om.
Shivaya.
Okay, so in the last class we had completed the seventh section, seventh khanda, and as we saw, the first to seventh sections, in fact, entire sixth chapter is an exposition on Tattvamasi, Mahavakya, and the first seven sections was Tatpada of the Tattvamasi. Now, from the eighth section to the 16th section will be the other two padas, Tvam and Asipada. And there is a particular method being used for the analysis, and that is Sushupti Avastha. And this will be done in using two concepts. One is the Sushupti experience itself will be analyzed, and one is the word Swapiti, which means to sleep. It's a verb meaning to sleep. So the word Swapiti will be analyzed. Okay, so let us go to the eighth section, mantra number 1. Sixth chapter, eighth section, mantra 1. Uddalako harunihi
उद्दालको
उद्गालको
हारुणिः
हारुणिः
श्वेतकेतुं पुत्रमुवाच
श्वेतकेतुं
श्वेतकेतुं
पुत्रमुवाच
पुत्रमुवाच
स्वप्नान्तं मे सौम्य विजानीहि इति
स्वप्नान्तं
स्वप्नान्तं
मे
मे
सौम्य विजानीहि
यत्रैतत्पुरुषः
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 स्वपीति नाम सता सौम्य
अपीति
स्वपीति
नाम सता
नाम सता
सौम्यः
सौम्य
सौम्यः
तदा सम्पन्नो भवति
तदा
तदा
सम्पन्नो
सम्पन्नो
भवति
भवति
स्वम् अपीतो भवति
स्वमपीतो
स्वमपीतो
भवति
भवति
तस्मात् एनं स्वपीति इत्याचक्षते
तस्मादेन
तस्मादेनं
स्वपीति
तस्मादेनास्मपीत्याक्षते
चाक्षते
स्वं ह्यपीतो भवति
स्वम्यपीतो
स्वम्यपीतो
भवति
भवति
सो उद्दालकः आरुणिः श्वेतकेतुं पुत्रम् उवाच. So Udalaka Arunihi means Udalaka, the son of Arunihi. Shvetaketu Putram, addressed Uvacha, addressed his Putram, his son, whose name was Shvetaketu. And he said, Swapnantam me Somya Vijanihi iti. Hey Somya, may you know Swapnantam, the nature of Swapnantam from me. May Vijanihi from me. May you know what Swapnantam. So Swapna Antam essentially meaning what? End of the Swapna. It is another name for Shushupti. Why? We have discussed this long ago. Why is
only after the swapna is avastha is over, that deep sleep period is there.
So when the dream state is over, it is said that the Sushupti Avastha will start. So at the end of the dream state, Swapna Antam, another name for Sushupti. And then he says, Yatra Tat Purushaha Swapiti Nama. When Tat Purusha, a person sleeps, Hey Soumya, Tada Sata Sampanno Bhavati. At that time, when he sleeps, what happens? Sampannaha. He emerges completely into Sata. So Sata here is Sat principle. Sat principle, the existence principle. Why? Because During Pralayam, there was only Brahman, the existence principle. And during Sushupti also, it is said that you merge into Brahman. So he says, Somya, Yatrai Tat Purusha Swapiti Nama, when this person goes into Sushupti, Tada Sata Sampanna Bhavati, he emerges into the existence principle, which is Brahman. And therefore, Tasmat Enam Swapiti Iti Achakshate. Therefore, Tasmat Enam. Enam means the one who is Swapiti. The one who is Sushupti is called Swapiti. What is the derivation of Swapiti? The grammatical derivation is one of those rare mantras where the mantra itself, Uddalaka himself, is giving the derivation. He says, Swam apito bhavati. The one who merges, apitaha, who merges into Swarupam, Swam, his own nature, is called Swapiti. And therefore, Swam, he apito bhavati. He merges into that nature of his. What is that nature? Atma alone, Brahman. Therefore, he is called Swapiti. Therefore, the person who is in Sushupti Avastha, his mind is dormant. Therefore, he has merged into Atma or into Brahman. And in that state, he is called Swapiti. Right? Why do you say he will merge into Brahman? Because you have to remember that the essential nature of any product is nothing but the cause. The essential nature of the bangle is nothing but gold. The essential nature of Jiva is nothing but Paramatma, Brahman. Therefore, whenever you talk about essential nature of Jivatma, remember there is no essential nature apart from Brahman. And because of this, we have a rule also that wherever a karyam, a product, is resolved, it will resolve into its own karanam, which is its own nature. The essential nature of a pot is clay. The essential nature of a bangle is gold. And therefore, whenever the product, the pot or the bangle are resolved, they will merge into their essential nature, into their karanam alone, into the cause alone. And using that rule, we know that Jivatma has to resolve into Brahman only. Now, Jivatma resolves into Brahman in at two stages, as two events, during two events. One is during Sushupti and one is during Pralayam. Obviously, we cannot study Pralayam because we are not there to study it. And therefore, the study of Sushupti is going to be undertaken. Now we will do the second mantra, 682. Sayatha Shakunihi
स यथा शकुनिः
यथा
शकुनिः
Sutrena Prabadho Disham Disham Patitva
सूत्रेण
सूत्रेण
प्रबद्धो
प्रबद्धो दिशं
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 पतित्वा
पतित्वा
Anyatra Ayatanam Alabdva
अन्यत्र
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 आयतनम्
आयतनं
आयतनमलब्ध्वा
लब्ध्वा
Bandhanam Eva Upashruyata Evam Eva
बन्धनं
बन्धनम् इव उपश्रुत एवम् एव
एवोपश्रयतम् एव
Alu Somya Tanmano Disham Disham Patitva
खलु
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 सौम्य
सौम्यो दिशं दिशं दिशं
दिशं दिशं
पतित्वा
दिशं पतित्वा
Anyatra Ayatanam Alabdva
अन्यत्र
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 आयतनमलब्ध्वा
आयतनमलब्ध्वा
Pranam Eva Upashruyate
प्राणमेव
प्राणम्
प्राणमेव
एव
उपश्रयते
उपश्रयते
Pranabandhanam Hi Somya Mana Iti.
प्राणबन्धनं हि सौम्य मन इति
सौम्यमन इति.
So this is the analysis of the avastha. Yatha sa Shakuni. What is Shakuni? Not Shakuni of Mahabharata.
a bird.
bird
Shakuni is a bird. So Yatha Sa Shakunahi, just as that bird, Sutrena Prabhatto, that bird which has been uh, restricted with a rope, so which is tied with a rope. Prabadha, restraint has been put by Sutrena, by a rope. The bird has been tied with a rope. What does he do? Disham Disham Patitva. He flies all around, but he's restricted with the rope. Remember, he's just flying around. The rope is tied to a pole in the ground, so he's going around and round. And Anyatra Ayatanam Alabdva. He does not find any other resting place anywhere else because before he can reach another tree, the length of the rope runs out. So he's not able to get to a tree at all. So Anyatra Ayatanam Alabdva, having not found any resting place, Bandhanameva Upashrayate. He comes back to the very pole to which he has been tied. So he comes back to rest because he's not able to rest anywhere else. This is the example. A bird tied with a rope tries to fly away but doesn't get to rest anywhere because the rope is not long enough to let him find another tree or a plant anywhere else. Ultimately, it comes back to that very pole which is the bondage and rests there. And then he extends that. Evam eva khalu somya. In the same manner, O dear one, O somya, tan mano disham disham patitva. The mind having wandered all over. So mind here is what? Remember, mind means the jiva, the RC. So tan mana, tat manaha disham disham patitva. That jiva atma mind having wandered all over the place, anyatra ayatanam alabdhva, and not having found a place to rest, pranam eva upashrayate. So pranam here means paramatma, comes back to atma, comes back to paramatma. Why? Because prana bandhanam hi somya mana iti. Because the connection to the mind itself, the connection to the atma itself, prana bandhana, the connection to the atma itself is the mind. It's a very nice phrase. Prana bandhan hi manaha. The bondage or the connection to prana, the atma, the paramatma, that itself is the mind. How do you understand? Because the mind is connected to the atma. And when you say mind is connected to atma, how should you understand it?
It is only in the mind that we can recognize the chit aspect, the consciousness aspect, the sakshi.
Yeah, you can take it that way. So you can see the RC is there in the mind because of the OC. So there is a connection between the mind and the OC in the form of the RC. Okay. Now think of a mirror in front of you, and you're standing in front of the mirror, and there is a reflection of your face which has formed on the mirror. So this reflection has got two connections, a twofold sambandha. The reflection in the mirror has got a connection with the mirror. Why? Because it is formed upon the mirror. But the what is it without which that reflection cannot be formed? The original face. And therefore there are two connections. The reflected face in the mirror has got a connection to the mirror, obviously, because it is formed in the mirror. It also has a connection to the original face because without that, it cannot be formed. Therefore, you can make two statements. The reflected face has a connection to the original face. Or you can say the reflected face has a connection to the mirror also. Do you see where this is going? The reflected face, to extend the example, is the RC, the consciousness reflected in the mind. And if you use the same example, that consciousness has two connections. One is to the mind, which is the reflecting medium. So we're talking about the RC, okay? The RC has two connections. One is to the reflecting medium, the mirror, or in case the mind, and the other one is to the original consciousness, the Atma. Therefore, two statements can be made. Now, in that, let us say because the RC is a conscious entity, the RC can make two statements. The RC can state that my connection is to the mirror, to the mind, because the RC is located in the mind. The RC can also say the mirror is a temporary reflecting medium. When the mirror goes away, my connection is to what? To the OC. Therefore, two statements can be made by the Jiva. I belong to the mirror or I belong to Atma. Right? In other words, the Jiva can say that I am a Jivatma, means I am associated with the body-mind complex. Or the Jiva can say, I belong to the Atma. And therefore, the mantra says, Prana bandhanam misomya mana iti. I am connected to the prana actually. Prana bandhana mana iti. I am connected only to prana. And prana here is not Sukshma Shariram. Prana here is Paramatma, the OC. So he says, I am connected to OC, not to the RM. RM is only temporary. It comes and goes. But my real connection is to the OC. In fact, I am the OC. Right? What is the takeaway from this mantra? That whenever you meditate in Nididhyasanam, drop the Jiva Bhava and say that Aham Brahmasmi. We have to learn to meditate, to move away from Jiva Bhava, the status of being a Jiva, and claim the status of being Brahman. Okay. Now we go to the third mantra. Asana pipase me somvya vijanihi iti.
पिपासे मे सौम्य विजानीहि
Yatraitat purushah
यत्रैतत् पुरुषः
ashishishati nama apa
अशीषेषति
नाम
नाप
eva tat shitam nayante
एव तच्चित्तं
तच्चित्तं
नयन्ते
नयन्ते
tadyatha gonaya ashvanayah
तद्यथा
तद्यथा
योऽश्वनाय
गोनायः अश्वनायः
purushanaya ityevam
पुरुषनाय
पुरुषनाय
इत्येवम्
इत्येवम्
tadapacha achakshate
आचक्रे
ashanayeti
अशानायेति
शनायेति
तद्रैतत् शृङ्गमत् पतितं सौम्य
तत्रैतच्चुङ्गपतितः
विजानीहि
जानीहि
नेदममूलं भविष्यतीति
न इदं मूलं भविष्यतीति
So you can see there are two subjects here which are going to be now talked about. Ashana, Vipasaha, hunger and thirst. Right? What is the technique? Analyze the product, the karyam, and then trace it back to the karana. That is the analysis is going to be in that manner. So why do we choose hunger and thirst? Because it is something which everybody has in common with Sushupti, which means that everyone experiences Sushupti. Similarly, these two experiences of hunger and thirst, everybody experiences. Right? So that commonality is there, and that is why they are chosen. So he says, Ashana pipase me somya vijanihi iti. May you understand from me, O dear one, me somya vijanihi. May you understand, O dear one, from me, Ashana pipase, the meaning, the nature of hunger and thirst. So, what is the normal definition of hunger? It is ashithum ishtati, desiring to eat. Right? But Shruti here doesn't use the normal etymology. It gives a different uh, meaning. It says you should take hunger as the digestive juice in your body. And this digestive juice, what does it do? It converts the food into nourishment. It extracts the nourishment from the food and then delivers it to the body and thus empties the stomach because the food from which all the nourishment has been removed is no longer required in the body and the body throws it out and therefore again your stomach is empty. And when the stomach's empty, what will happen? Again you will be feeling hungry. Therefore it is the digestive juice which is the cause for hunger. Therefore in this mantra, the primary meaning of the word Ashanaya is the digestive juice. That we should remember. And of course, there is a secondary meaning, which is the normal meaning, hunger. Okay. So it's interesting to look at the derivation, the etymology. Ashanaya can be split into two words. Asha, which is derived from ashtatu. One second, please hold on. Sorry, my apologies. Okay. So Ashanaya can be split into two words, ash plus naya. Asha is from ashdhatu, which means to eat, and naya is derived from ni dhatu. Ni is that which takes away. Nayati, carrying. Nayati meaning carrying. So nayati iti naya, that which carries. And therefore ashanaya means what? That which carries away the food which has been eaten. Okay, so now you can understand why it is the primary meaning is taken as digestive juice. Because it's the digestive juice which carries the food, so to speak, all over the body by giving nutrition to the body. Therefore, when a person gets hungry, he desires to eat that digestive food, it empties the stomach. So, apa eva tat ashitam nayante says the digestive juice, apaha, which carries the food from the stomach, meaning it empties the stomach. That is called Ashadaya. The digestive juices are called Ashadaya. And he gives an example. Tadyatha go nayaha. Just as a cow herd. So What's a cow herd? There also is the derivation of gonaya. Gaha nayati iti gonaya. Nayati means takes away. So gaha nayati. The one who takes the cows, iti gonaya. You can understand why, where does one, the cow herd take the cows
Gaze.
for grazing. Therefore, same derivation is there. Gaha nayati iti gonaya. The one who takes the cows to graze is gonaya. Similarly, the one who takes care of the horses is ashvanaya. And similarly, purushanaya is the one who takes care of purushaha. One who takes care of purushaha means the leader of people. So in that same way, having given this example, he says, Ityevam tat apaha achakshate ashanaya iti. In the same way, because of the idea that digestive juices are the one which extract the nutrition from the food and take it all around the body, that is why it is called digestive juices, ashanaya. Okay. Now, this is only a grammar question. Okay. See, if those who know Sanskrit grammar, Gonayaha, Ashwanayaha, Purushanayaha, all have got visargas. Ashnaya does not have a visarga. Grammatically, the visarga is doing what? Indicating that those three are masculine, pulling, and Ashanaya is thrilling. That's why, in case it has occurred to you why the visarga is not there, that is the reason why Ashnaya doesn't have a visarga. Ashnaya is thrilling. Okay, another question. What is the uh, purpose of the discussion? Since digestive juice is called Ashnaya, we are going to say that it is the Ashnaya which converts the food into the various constituents of the body, like blood, flesh, fat, marrow, etc. And what conclusion would you draw from that? If it is the Ashnaya, the digestive juice, which converts the food you eat into blood, flesh, fat, marrow, etc., what is the conclusion that we should draw? Your body is being formed. In other words, when I am saying Ashnaya, the digestive juice, it converts the food into body constituents. Another way of saying is the body is being formed from these constituents, from this food, right? So, what is the idea conveyed here? The body is the product of Annam. Food is Annam. The body is product of Annam, and therefore Annamaya Koshaha. Koshaha means the Karyam, the product. Therefore, body is Karyam. What is the product? Annam is Karanam. Okay. Now, when you're analyzing the digestive juice, Ashanaya, what have you done? You have said Ashanaya converts the food into body constituents and ultimately into the body. Therefore, body is Karyam. Annam is Karanam. You have to extend that further. Annam is born out of what?
Sure. The seeds we had spoken earlier.
You are forgetting the discussion. Annam here is to be taken as Prithvi family.
Okay.
Prithvi is born out of what? We are in the analysis of Karyakarana Sambandha. Tattva Bodha.
Shona and Shunita.
Jalam. Apah.
Or
Prithvi is born out of Jalam. Therefore, Annam is born out of Jalam. Jalam is born out of, now it should be simple,
Agni.
Agni. Agni is born out of,
Vayu.
no, Agni is born.
that's a trick question, okay?
Vayu.
Wow.
There is no Vayu
Vayu.
in Chandogya Upanishad.
Yeah, it is.
Chandogya Upanishad only has three
Brahman.
elements,
Three elements.
Yes.
right? Annam, the Prithvi, Jalam, Agni. And therefore, Agni is born out of Brahman, right? Therefore, the final Karanam for this Annamaya Shariram is what? Brahman. And that is what he says, Tatra etaha shungam utpatitam. Shungam means the body, Shariram. So, Tatra eta shungam utpatitam. That is the breakup of that long word which many of you could not pronounce. Tatra eta shungam utpatitam. This shungam, this shariram, is born out of that annam. Shungam literally means the shoot of a plant, the bud of a plant, right? So here it is understood as the product, the karyam, and therefore karyam of. And I would request those whose mics are open to please mute them all because you're disturbing the recording. Okay. So shungam is the bud or the shoot of a plant. So it can be taken as the karyam, the product. And in the analysis, therefore, shungam has to be taken as the product of annam, which is sharira. And therefore it says, He Somya Vijanihi. This you should know. And then he says, Na idam amulam bhavashyati iti. Na idam. Idam is this. This is this body. So he says, no, O Somya, that this body na bhavishyati cannot come into being amulam without a cause. Amulam is without a root cause. Mulam is cause. Amulam is without a cause. So, idam shariram na bhavishyati, this body cannot come into being amulam without a root cause. What is the root cause here? Sat Brahman. And therefore, the idea is that you start with the body, you go through the three elements, and you end up with the main karanam, which is Sat Brahman only. Now, Shankara in his commentary adds one point which makes it more clear. He says that the food consumed by the father and the mother, that alone gets converted into the seed in both the male body and the female body. And when the seeds come together, Shukram Shonitam, then the child is born. So both Shukram and Shonitam are products of what?
Annarasamaya.
Annam only. Annarasam we called it earlier, right? Yeah, Annam only. Since you are saying that the Shukram is Annakaryam, Annam Karyam, Annakaryam, and Shonitam is also Annakaryam. The child's body is what? Annakaryam only, right? Because ultimately the cause for Shukram and Sonitam is Annam. And Shukram and Sonitam are the cause for the child's body. Therefore, finally speaking, the child's body is also a product of Annam alone. Therefore, Annam is the Karanam for the child's body also. This is not part of the mantra. This is Shankara Bhashyam, making it very clear what it is that the mantra is talking about. He's saying ultimately, all bodies, the Karanam is only Annam, Prithvi. Okay. Now let's look at the fourth mantra. तस्य क्व मूलं स्यात्
तस्य
तस्य
मूलं
मूलं
स्यात्
स्यात्
मूलं स्यात्
अन्यत्र अन्नात् एवमेव खलु सौम्य
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्र
अन्नादेव
अज्ञातेवमेव खलु
सौम्या
सौम्य
अन्नेन शृङ्गेन आपो मूलमन्विच्छ
अन्नेन शुम्भेन
अन्नेन
आपो
शृङ्गेनापो
मूलमन्विच्छ
मूलमुपविच्य
तद्भिः सौम्य शृङ्गेन तेजो मूलमन्विच्छ
इति
तद्धि
सौम्य शुम्भेन
सौम्यशृङ्गेन
तेजो
तेजोमूलमन्विच्छ
अन्विच्छ
तेजोमूलमन्विच्छ
तेजसा सौम्य शृङ्गेन सन्मूलमन्विच्छ
तेजसा
तेजसा
सौम्यशृङ्गेन
सौम्यशृङ्गेन
सन्मूलमन्विच्छ
मूलमन्विच्छ
मूलमन्विच्छ
तन्मूलाः सौम्य इमाः सर्वाः प्रजाः
सन्मूलाः
सन्मूलाः
तन्मूलाः सौम्येमाः
सौम्येमाः
सर्वा प्रजाः
सर्वा
प्रजाः
प्रजाः
यतनाः सत्प्रतिष्ठाः
सदा
सदा
यतनाः
यतनाः
सत्प्रतिष्ठाः
सत्प्रतिष्ठाः
ओके तो तस्य क्व मूलं स्यात् what is the मूलं the karanam for tasya sharirasya for that body what is the karanam for that body anyatra annat other than annam there's one sentence tasya kva moolam syat anyatra annat what is the karanam for that body other than annam right and therefore we are now going to analyze the entire sequence of steps the karana karya parampara so from the body go to the karanam which is annam then from annam which remember is prithvi only because it is in prithvi that annam grows. So from annam, from prithvi, go to the karanam, which is jalaha. From jalaha, go to the karanam, which is agnihi. From agnihi, go to the moola karanam, which is sat brahman, existence principle. So he says, evam eva khalu somya. In this manner, O somya, or dear one, annena shunghena. From annam the karyam, apaha moolam anvichaha. May you inquire into the karanam for annam. And what will you find? Moolam apaha. You will find that the karanam is apaha, is jalam, is water. And adhi somya shungena. Adhi is another name for jalam. So through that jalam inquiry, hey Somya, you should find what? Tejaha Moolam Anvichaha. You will find that Agni is the Karanam for Jalam, for water. And Tejasa Somya Shungena, through Agni the Karyam, Sanmoolam Anvichaha. May you go to Sat Moolam, the Sat Karanam, Jagat Karanam, with its existence principle itself. And then there are three adjectives. Sanmulaha, Sat Mulaha, the Karanam which is Sat. Then Sat Ayatanaha. So Ayatanaha here means Sthiti. Sat Mulaha means Srishti. So that Brahman, which is Sat Mulaha means Srishti Karanam. Sat Ayatanaha is Sthiti Karanam because there are Ayatanam over there. Ayatanam means the stable state or the place, the residence. And Sat Pratishtaha. Pratishtha is the support. And therefore Sat Pratishtaha refers to Brahman as Laya Karanam. Therefore Sanmulaha, Sadayatanaha, Sat Pratishtaha. Brahman as Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya Karanam. He Somya, Ima Sarvaha Prajaha. That Brahman is Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya Karanam for all beings here, oh dear one. This is what is the teaching. A very, very famous mantra. And therefore, Sad Brahman alone is Srishti, Sthiti, Laya Karanam. Remember here it is Upadana Karanam. Why do we say Upadana Karanam and not Nimitta Karanam? What is the indicator here that we are not talking about Nimitta Karanam, we are only about Upadana Karanam? You have to remember all that you studied so far. Anybody?
Because we are talking about creation and dissolution, so it is a Upadana Karam.
Explain further.
Parinami Upadana Karanam, which changes, it comes into elements form, and then it's talking about formation.
Well, when can we say, in what context is Ishvara only Nimitta Karana?
When the Maya aspect is not there, it is only the Brahman aspect, only then it can be Nimitta Karma.
I have said this before, I'll say it again. The understanding should be very clear that you can talk about Ishvara as Nimitta Upadana Karana, or you can talk about Ishvara as Nimitta Karana, or you can talk about Ishvara as Upadana Karana. When you are talking about Ishvara as Nimitta Karana, it is only Srishti Matram, as we have said before. Whenever Brahman is said to be the Nimitta Karana, it is only in the context of creation. The moment you say Sthiti and Laya, that Brahman has to be understood as Upadana Karana. The logic is clear, right? Sthiti means the universe is come into being, and therefore Upadana Karanam is there. Laya means it is going to resolve, and therefore Upadana anything can resolve only into its Upadana Karanam. Therefore, when you say Srishti Matram, you are saying only creation. That only creation can be either as inclusive of Upadana Karanam or exclusive of Upadana Karanam. It's easier to understand in the worldly context. When you say the Nimitta Karanam for the bangle, who is the Nimitta Karanam for bangle?
The goldsmith.
The goldsmith,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So there it is very clear that when you say Nimitta Karanam, Upadana is excluded. And when you say Upadana Karanam for bangle, then it is gold. But here there is no distinction because Upadanam and Nimittam are the same, Ishvara. Therefore, when you talk about it in terms of creation, if you're talking about the Brahman aspect of Ishvara, that is Nimitta Karanam. The moment you include Maya aspect of Ishvara, even the Srishti part is Upadana Karanam. I hope I'm being clear. If you are saying only Nimitta Karanam, Ishvara is only Nimitta Karanam, you are talking only about Brahman aspect. You are the creator aspect without including the material Maya. So, I hope
Yes.
there's no confusion about that.
So, Acharyaji, when we say Nimitta Karanam, we are still referring to the Saguna Ishvara.
You are referring to Saguna Ishvara.
And not Nirguna.
Any creation means Saguna Ishvara.
Right.
Nirguna Ishvara, Nirguna Brahman has no role to play in creation. In fact, from Nirguna Brahman's point of view, there is no creation at all. So whenever we say creation, maintenance, destruction, etc., etc. Remember, we are talking about Saguna Ishvara only.
Thank you.
Okay, this I thought I will repeat because though we have done this in the sometime earlier also, maybe not in so much detail. So Sanmulaha Sadayatanaha Satpratishtaha Brahman is Srishti Karanam, Sthiti Karanam, and Layakaranam. Hey Somya Imaha Sarvaha Prajaha, for all these beings, oh dear one. Okay. And therefore, by knowing this Karanam, everything can be known. The next question is how to know that Sat Brahman. How to know? It is your own Swarup. Therefore, now we will look at mantra number 5. अथ यत्र एतत् पुरुषः
अथ
अथ
यत्र
एतत्
तत्पुरुषः
पुरुषः
पिपासति नाम तेज
पिपासति
विपासति
नाम तेज
नाम तेज
एव तत्पीतं नयते
एव
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 तत्पीतं
तन्नयते
नयते
तद्यथा गोनायः अश्वनायः
तद्यथा
तद्यथा
गुणायः
गुणाय
अश्वनायः
अश्वनाय
पुरुषनाय इति
भूषणाय
पुरुषनाय इति
एवं तत्तेज आचष्ट
एवं
एवं
तत्तेज
तेज
आचष्ट
आचष्ट
उदनेति तत्र
उदन्येति
उदन्येति
तत्र
तत्र
एतद् एव शृङ्गम् उत्पतितम्
एतत्
एतत्
एव
शृङ्गम्
शृङ्गम्
उत्पतितम्
सौम्य विजानीहि
सौम्य
सौम्य
विजानीहि
विजानीहि
नेदम् अमूलम् भविष्यतीति
नेदम् अमूलम्
नेदमूलं भविष्यतीति
भविष्यति
So the discussion on hunger is over. Now we come to pipasa, thirst. So in Sanskrit, the word pipasa has a synonym, has a similar word which is called udanya. Pipasa means what? Thirst, a desire for water. Udanya also means desire for water. Now, in the previous mantra, Udalaka directly derived the hunger word, but here he is not deriving pipasa. He gives the derivation of udanya. So, udanya means regular meaning is thirst. But here, Shruti says that the primary meaning of udanya is Chathara Agni, the digestive fire. Why does it say so? Because when the digestive fire burns in the body, it consumes all the water in the body. Therefore, there is a lack of water in the body, and therefore the desire for water. Therefore, primary meaning of udanya is Chathara Agni, the digestive fire, and secondary meaning is thirst. In the earlier one we saw, primary meaning was digestive juices. Secondary meaning was hunger. Here, primary meaning is the digestive fire. Secondary meaning is hunger. Now let us look at the same split. Udanya can be split as Uda plus Nya. Uda plus Nya. Uda is Udakam. Right? Udakam, the word we are familiar with. Meaning what?
A lake.
a lake or a body
Water.
of water.
Okay, water, basically water. Okay. And Nya, we have seen before, stands for Nayati, taking away. Therefore, Udakam Nayati iti Udanyaha. The one who takes away the water. That is called Udanyaha. And therefore, what does the digestive fire do? It drains the water from the body because it uses it. And therefore, it carries away the water from the body. Therefore, Udanyaha. So, all very nice derivation is given in the mantra itself. Okay, it is not, it's all part of the mantra. Then, Atha Yatra Etat Purushaha Pipasati Nama. So when a person, pipasati, wants to drink water, teja eva tat pitam nayate. The digestive fire takes away the water, and then he gives the same examples. Tadyatha gonaya ashvanaya purushanaya. Same examples as the previous mantra. And therefore the digestive fire is called udakanyaha. In short, udanya. Udakanyaha, udanyaha. Iti evam tat teja achashta udanyeti. Therefore, iti, this digestive fire, tat tejaha, is called udanya iti. Right? And tatra, from that digestive fire, etad eva shungham utpatitam. This, from that digestive fire, this shungam, this body, this shariram is born. Therefore, hey Somya, understand, O dear one, vijanihi, please understand, na idam amula bhavashyati. This body cannot be produced without a karanam. It is the same argument as before. The first statement is that this is born from a karanam. Therefore, you should understand that bodies have to get a karanam. Right? And if you inquire into the body, you will find that you will come to apaha, water. From apaha, you will come to tejaha, agni. And from tejaha, you will come to sat brahman. And the conclusion is the same in the earlier mantra, not mentioned here. We have to supply sanmulaha, sadayatanaha, satpratishtaha. Brahman, that Brahman, sat Brahman, is the Srishti Karanam, Sthiti Karanam, and Laya Karanam. Somyaha imaha sarvaha prajaha, for all living beings, O dear one. So using this, we are going from Karyam to Karanam. Mantra number 6. Tasya kva moola syat
तस्य मूलं
तस्य
स्यात्
स्यात्
anyatra adhyah adhihi
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्र
अद्भ्यः
अद्भ्यः
अग्निः
अद्भिः
somya shungena tejo moolamannvichha
सौम्यशृङ्गेन तेजोमूलमन्विच्छ
Tejasa somya shungena sanmoolamannvichha
तेजसा
तेजसा
शृङ्गेन
सौम्यशृङ्गेन सन्मूलमन्विच्छ
सन्मूलमन्विच्छ
सन्मूलाः सौम्येमाः सर्वाः प्रजाः सदायतनाः
सन्मूलाः
तन्मूलाः
सौम्ये
सौम्ये
मा
मा
सर्वाः
सर्वाः
प्रजाः
प्रजाः
सदायतनाः
सत्प्रतिष्ठता यथा तु
तत्प्रतिष्ठा
सत्प्रतिष्ठाय
यथा
खलु सोम इमास्तिस्रो देवताः पुरुषं प्राप्य
खलु
खलु सौम्ये मा
सौम्यमास्तिस्रो देवता
देवता पुरुषं
प्राप्य
प्राप्य
त्रिवृत् एकैका भवति
त्रिवृत्तैकैका
त्रिविद्देकैका भवति
भवति
तदुक्तं पुरस्तादेव
तदुक्तं
तदुक्तं
पुरुषादेव
पुरस्तादेव
भवति अस्य सौम्य
भवति
भवत्यस्य
अस्य
सौम्य
सौम्य
पुरुषस्य प्रयतो वाङ्मनसि सम्पद्यते
पुरुषस्य
पुरुषस्य
प्रयतो
प्रयतो
मां मनसि
मनसि
सम्पद्यते
सम्पद्यते
मनः प्राणे प्राणस्तेजसि
मनः
मनः
प्राणे
प्राणे
प्राणस्तेजसि
प्राणस्तेजसि
तेजः परस्यां देवतायाम्
तेजः
तेजः
परस्यां
परसयां
देवतायाम्
देवतायाम्
So the inquiry continues in the same manner. Tasya kva moola syat anyatra adhyah. Other than adhyah, water, what karanam can be there for this body? And adhihi somya shungena tejo moolamanvichaha. From that jalakaryam, jalam which is the product, shungena, you should go back to its karanam. What is the Karanam for Jalam? Tejaha. And Tejasa Somya Shungena Sanmulam Anvichaha. You should inquire into the Karanam for Tejasa. And you will arrive at what? Anmulam Sat. Sanmulaha Somya Emaha Sarvaha Prajaha Sadayatanaha Satpratishtaha. Oh dear one, all living beings, Sarvaha Prajaha. Therefore, what is the Srishti Karanam, Sthiti Karanam, and Laya Karanam? All of them have Sad Brahman as Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya. When you say, again I'll repeat, when you say Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya Karanam, it is Upadana Karanam Anu. Yathatu Khalu Somya Imasti Sro Devataha Taduktam Purastad Bhavati. Hey Somya, oh dear one, this teaching given in this mantra, Imaha Tisro Devataha, on the three elements, three bhutanis. Tisro Devataha means the three bhutanis. Already mentioned earlier, Devataha here means the Panchabhutani, not Panchabhutani, Mahabhutani. Said earlier, therefore, oh dear one, this teaching now in this mantra is on the three Mahabhutani and Purusham Prapya. Having entered the Purusha, Trivitra Ekaika Bhavati gets divided in three portions. One contributes to Sukra Shariram, one contributes to Sthula Shariram, and the third part is excreted from the body. Now, Upanishad says that during Maranam also, during death also, all jivas temporarily resolve into Brahman. So, Asya Somya Purushasya Prayato. Somya, oh dear one, when a jiva dies, Vang Manasi Sampadyati. The Vak Indriyam, Manasi Sampadyate will resolve into the mind. Remember here that mind stands for Prithvi Tattva. Therefore, the Vak, the Indriyam, will resolve into Prithvi Tattvam. Manaha Prane Sampadyate. Prana stands for Jala Tattvam. Manaha stands for Prithvi Tattvam. So Prithvi Tattvam resolves into Prana Tattvam. The thinking faculty also goes. Therefore, only Prana is functioning. And Pranaha Tejasi Sampadyate. The Jala Tattvam resolves into Tejasaha, Agni Tattvam. Breathing is also going. The body is still warm because Agni Tattvam is still there. Tejaha Parasyam Devatayam. Agni Tattvam resolves into Devatayam Sad Brahman. Jiva has merged into Ishvara. Which Ishvara? Maya Sahita Brahman. Which are, of course, this is the talking about the when Jiva dies. The Jiva temporarily merges into Brahman. But remember that the Karana Rupa still remains. The subtle body and gross body have merged into respective elements. But the Karana Sharira, which contains the karma, individuality, this will remain until it is destroyed by jnana. So with this, the discussion is over. And from the next mantra onwards, the Mahavakyam begins. So the rest of this section itself, the next chapter itself, is basically only the Mahavakyam that we'll see in the next class. Any questions? Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om Om Om.